LU's veterinary program delayed until 2025. The city seeking feedback on a backyard homes bylaw. And Thanksgiving preparations underway at the Salvation Army. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Students are going to have to wait a little longer to enroll in Lakehead University's new veterinary program. It was expected to welcome its first class next fall, but that's now been delayed until 2025. Vasilios Bellos is following this story and joins us live in studio with the details. Vasilios.
Thanks, Ryan. It's not the news anyone wanted to hear, especially pet owners who are struggling to find a vet due to the local staffing shortage. There's still no dollar figure for the cost of launching the program, though LU is expecting a consultant's report later this month with more information. A delay to a much-anticipated new program at Lakehead University has many in the region dragging their tails.
Trying to do things as quickly as possible, but of course a new build like this is going to take some time.
Originally hoping to welcome students next fall, LU's new veterinary program now won't see classes begin until 2025. The four-year program is split between LU and Guelph, and will welcome 20 students annually. One of the reasons for the delay is that the program will require a brand new build at Lakehead. Provost and Vice President of Academic David Barnett says they're currently working with a consultant to understand what is required.
Several of us have been down to Guelph as well to look at what the needs are there, but the consultants will be advising us on what that new build might look like, and certainly we'll be leveraging spaces here at the university that we can.
The province has already committed $14.7 million over 2 years to the project, with Thunder Bay's CEDC pitching in $500,000 as well. At this point, the final cost is still unknown. The delay has a significant effect on vets in the region struggling with staffing, with the hopes that the program will result in graduates planning to stay in the Northwest.
It's not just the need for veterinarians in Ontario, but really the need in northern and rural communities such as here in northwestern Ontario, so that we can fill some of those needs, not just for your pet animals, but also for large animals in the agricultural sector as well.
LU is expecting the consultant's report with cost and potential building design in the coming weeks. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Premier Doug Ford wrapped up his brief tour of the city last night with visits to the Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper Mill and the Resolute Sawmill. Ford says forestry companies are crucial for Ontario's economic development and for drawing new residents to Thunder Bay.
There's opportunities to come up here. We have to make sure we create the environment and the conditions for companies to come here and invest. And we created Ontario, not government, because I don't believe government creates jobs. Ontarians created more manufacturing jobs than all 50 states combined. And I told our friends when they came up from Nevada and Arizona and down in Michigan, and they're all saying, what are you doing up here? It's the people.
The Premier's stop at the Pulp and Paper Mill came 2 months after Atlas Holdings finalized its $220 million purchase of the operation. Ford was greeted with a line of handshakes from employees and with some photo ops. Accompanied by local MP Kevin Holland, the Premier then made his way to the Resolute Sawmill on Darrell Avenue. Ford had just a few moments for questions from the media. He was asked why he didn't meet with First Nations chiefs in Toronto last week who oppose resource extraction in their territories.
I'm the most accessible Premier that this province ever has seen. I give everyone my phone number, as I did to these great folks there. You have an issue, you come by, you give me a call. I always joke around with Greg. I said I should be the Minister of Indigenous Affairs because I'm getting calls from chiefs literally every single week, almost every single day. So everyone's welcome to come down and pay us a visit and have a chat.
Grassy Narrows Chief Rudy Turtle says Ford makes time for developers and mining executives and should also make time for a face-to-face meeting with the chiefs. Turtle adds it's not too late for Ford to do the right thing, meet with them, and respect First Nations' right to say no to industry. The city of Thunder Bay is looking for feedback on a potential bylaw change that would make it easier to build backyard homes. The bylaw is meant to clarify regulations, but one resident who tried to build a backyard home in Westport is now warning others about her experience. Jonathan Wilson reports.
Backyard homes are thought of as a way to give older family members independence or provide a means of income through renting a unit out. The city is now looking to change the bylaw around these homes, which would reduce the existing setback of 1.5 meters down to just 60 centimeters.
I think there's a lot of interest. I would expect that I will hear a bit from both sides.
To gauge the community's appetite for the bylaw, the city has launched a public survey which is currently available. City planner Jillian Fazio says since the approval of backyard homes, she's heard a range of public opinions.
Some people have been interested in building backyard homes, so of course they want the setbacks to be reduced. It creates less of a challenge for them. Of course, just proximity concerns that neighbors have. Having walls closer to their lot line may create a bit more shading.
With the interest in backyard homes, there's been a number of applications from the public, but the woman who submitted the very first application last year on Alpine Place discovered there was a big unexpected cost just for the water and sewer lines.
It became unattainable. Their pricing was around $80,000.
Jody Graham planned to use a backyard home for her mother. After receiving approval, Graham found she couldn't simply extend water and sewer lines from her home to the backyard unit. As she had an older home, she would have had to install a brand new system on the property to meet current standards, forcing her to cancel the build. Graham says she understands the high quote from the contractor, but believes it makes backyard homes on older properties a real challenge.
All the upgrades that needed to be done, even gas and hydro, I don't know what those costs would have been. But I mean, we're guesstimating the build to be around $300,000. You got to charge a lot of rent in a backyard home to make up that difference.
Be more feasible for that applicant or others in similar situations to construct an additional second unit in the home itself, so through an addition.
For those looking to learn more about the backyard home bylaw, there will be an open house in the City Hall lobby on October 23rd from 3 to 6 p.m. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
It's the scandal that continues to dominate the conversation in Ontario's halls of power, and when it comes to what's next for the Greenbelt, we're still waiting. But the government says its plan for the protected land is on the way. Siobhan Morris reports.
It was just over 2 weeks ago the Premier said he made a mistake on the Greenbelt.
I'll be reversing the changes we made and won't make any changes to the Greenbelt in the future.
The government has been using the promise of legislation to swat away criticism of how lands were removed in the first place.
We will codify in legislation the boundaries of the Greenbelt, Mr. Speaker, so that it is protected through legislation and not through regulation.
So future governments will have to present bills if they want to make tweaks. But on such a touchy file,
I don't know what is taking so long.
The minister in charge explains there are a lot of moving parts.
Ensure that the additional lands that we promised are put back into the Greenbelt, and we're restoring the easements that were brought in with respect to the agricultural preserve.
Calandra promises to table the bill October 16th, when MPPs return to Queen's Park from a week in their home communities. Opposition parties aren't ready to say if they'll support it.
I'm going to wait and see what's in that bill. I don't trust this government for 1 second.
They want more than an undo.
No more 400 series highways in the Greenbelt, and no more new pits and quarries in the Greenbelt.
The Liberals are concerned about the expansion of urban boundaries in Ottawa and Hamilton against the wishes of those cities. They want the Greenbelt bill
to protect Ontarians from the kind of things I think that happened in the urban boundary, or it appeared to have happened in the urban boundary, which wasn't transparent at all.
And some developers benefited in the same way Greenbelt developers could have. The government has no plans to reverse itself there.
The planners in Hamilton identified that they did not have enough space to meet future demands in their community.
Opposition parties are calling those boundary changes the Greenbelt Scandal 2.0.
That was CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. The town of Marathon will soon get 14 new long-term care beds. A groundbreaking ceremony was held today for a new facility that's being attached to the Wilson Memorial General Hospital. The project is being carried out by North of Superior Healthcare. CEO Adam Brown calls it an exciting milestone. The new modern long-term care home will be integrated into the hospital with a mix of private and shared rooms along with communal spaces. Indigenous residents will also have access to cultural space. The 14 beds are expected to be available to seniors in the summer of 2025. Thanksgiving weekend is upon us, and many are looking to give back, including the Thunder Bay Professional Firefighters Association. Members are rolling up their sleeves to help out at the 26th Annual Thanksgiving Community Dinner at the Salvation Army. This will be the first time a sit-down Thanksgiving dinner will be held in the organization's new space. Preparations are already underway to feed up to 350 people, with 22 turkeys, 50 pies, and 200 pounds of potatoes, all donated by the local Firefighters Association. Members and their families volunteered today, and they'll be back on Sunday to serve the dinner. The event is open to anyone struggling to put food on the table or simply looking for some company over the holidays.
I think, sit down and meeting people and talking to people and spending time is really important. And I think just getting to do it that way. It was a little bit less personable when we were doing the takeout dinners, but again, we were still providing to people in need.
It's the time of year and everybody should be thankful for what they have, and we work on the streets and we see the need, so if we can give back this little bit for a day when everybody can come from all over the city to get their dinner, then that's a great opportunity for us to give back.
The free dinner will be served on Sunday from noon to 2. Shuttle service is available from the Water Street and City Hall bus terminals starting at 11:45. Tomorrow marks the start of Ontario Cadet Week, which honors Army, Air, Sea Cadets, and Navy League cadets. Local members, along with their families, and Mayor Ken Boshkoff were at City Hall this morning for a flag-raising ceremony. The week-long events are focused on acknowledging the importance of the cadet movement across Canada, especially here in Thunder Bay, where all of the cadet programs are available. Over the years, they've allowed local youth to improve their physical fitness, leadership skills, personal health and well-being, and become good overall citizens. Leading cadet Tessa Wedding says it's important that cadets be recognized.
There's people who don't know that cadets exist. I didn't know about it until 2 years ago when one of my friends brought me down, and I've loved it ever since. And I definitely recommend it.
It's really nice to see everybody out, know that people know what we are and what we do. We do lots of community service, and we do a whole bunch of stuff to help the community as well.
I find it important that they come out here because it gives me a good sense that there's people here that like what we do.
The events throughout the week include a visit to the Military Museum tomorrow, displays and recruiting at Intercity Shopping Centre next Friday, and a sunset ceremony at the HMCS Griffin on October 14th. Well, Fiona, we see that flag whipping around there in the wind at City Hall. I can tell you, fall really smacked me in the face this morning when I left my door.
Yeah, it was kind of a violent start to the day,
Yeah.
I think, for you. That's because we had a low of 7 and a high of 9, and it basically fluctuated between those temperatures all day today. And that is kind of a rude awakening, I think, after the week that we had had. And it came with winds from the northwest, starting out at 22 kilometers per hour. This afternoon, it was gusting up to 58. Okay, and with rain, it was just being slapped in the face all day by showers. You just could not avoid it. So not the most pleasant conditions. And if we take a look at how the system has been moving through, it's not a huge system. It's not a solid system, but it's enough that it never seemed to really stop for more than a few minutes at a time in Thunder Bay. To the west, though, Fort Frances starting to see the sunshine again. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with any heat. Behind this system is much cooler air pushing down from the northwest, which Fort Frances was certainly feeling, with winds gusting 50 kilometers per hour at times. As we head up into Red Lake, similar temperatures. We're very consistent today and to the west. We finally got some sunshine. They were fluctuating between partly cloudy and mostly cloudy, and they're currently sitting at 8. I think they topped out with a high of 10 this afternoon, but really, again, not a whole lot of movement. A low of 4, high of 10, and right now they're sitting just between it. Similar temperatures in Sioux Lookout, and then it cools down into Pickle Lake, Big Trout Lake, and yes, Armstrong and Greenstone, where they've been dealing with periods of rain throughout the day. Temperatures have been falling slowly but steadily since this morning, and they're currently at a low of 4 Celsius. It is a little warmer along the North Shore in Nipigon and Marathon, managing double digits at 10 at this hour. Sault Ste. Marie 11. They also had a couple of showers, but for the most part, it's just been mostly cloudy on the eastern shores of Lake Superior. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to drop down to a low of 3. We could still see another passing shower. You saw the size of the system moving through, so no surprise we could see a shower or two. But then in the overnight hours, we should be seeing some clearing. As we head into Saturday, we've got some sunshine on the way, but as you can see, a lot of very chilly air behind it. And I'll have more details on what that will do to your Thanksgiving forecast later on in the news hour.
Well, I know this is a lot more in line with what we expect to see typically this time of year, Fiona, but it doesn't mean that I have to like it. Well, Canada's economy created tens of thousands of jobs, added tens of thousands of jobs last month, but as economists tell us, it could be a good news, bad news situation. We'll explain after the break.
Our population is growing, so we have a lot more people who can be employed, and a lot of those people are being employed.